People ask me sometimes what we ate during the Depression. They expect me to say we went hungry. We did not. They ask it like it is a puzzle. 10 people, $2 a whole week. Like the math cannot possibly work. I tell them the math works fine if you know what you are doing. My mother knew what she was doing. I was 7 years old in the summer of 1935. My father was picking up whatever work he could find, $2 here, 50 cents there. My mother had 8 children, a kitchen garden, a cast iron pot, and a strict set of rules about how food got used. Not 1 ounce was wasted, not 1 meal was skipped. I am going to tell you exactly what we ate that summer, not approximately, exactly. I still remember because we ate the same meals every week on almost the same days. My mother ran her kitchen the way a general runs a campaign, everything planned, everything accounted for, nothing left to chance. $2 in 1935 bought more than $2 buys today, but not as much as you might think. A pound of dried beans cost a few cents. Cornmeal was cheap. Lard was cheap. Salt was cheap. A dozen eggs cost about 25 cents. Whatever the garden gave us cost nothing. The secret was not finding cheap food. The secret was building every meal around what went the furthest and never letting anything expire before it was used. My mother planned from Sunday to Saturday. She cooked once, stretched twice, and wasted nothing. Every pot she made fed the family that night and gave her something to work with for 2 more days after. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Edna Mae. I was born in 1928, and I have been doing things the old way my entire life. Hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss the next one. Let us go through the week. Number 1, Sunday, the bean pot. Everything started with the beans. Every Sunday morning, my mother pulled out the 2-pound bag of dried navy beans she had put in water the night before. She drained them, covered them with fresh water in the largest pot we owned, and added 1 ham hock or 1 piece of salt pork, just 1 piece. That was all she needed. She cooked them low and slow for 4 to 5 hours with a halved onion and a bay leaf. No salt until the very end. She was firm about that. Adding salt too early toughens the beans and they never cook soft. She salted them only in the last 30 minutes. By Sunday afternoon, we had a pot of beans large enough to feed 10 people twice over. We ate beans and cornbread that night. The cornbread was 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 egg, a tablespoon of lard, and a cup of buttermilk, mixed and poured into a hot grease skillet and baked 20 minutes. It came out with a hard, dark crust on the bottom and a soft crumb inside. That bean pot was not finished on Sunday. It did not even come close. It fed us again on Tuesday and again on Thursday, each time turned into something different. 2 pounds of dried navy beans cost about 8 cents in 1935. A bag today costs roughly $2 and still feeds 10 people more than once. A single can of beans at the store costs $1 and feeds 2. My rule has always been this: start the week with beans. Everything else follows from there. Number 2, Monday. Tomato gravy over biscuits. Monday mornings in summer meant tomatoes. By July, the garden was producing faster than we could eat fresh. My mother would pick whatever was ripe, 6, 8, 10 tomatoes, core them, chop them rough, and put them in a skillet with a tablespoon of lard and half an onion diced fine. She cooked them down over medium heat until they were completely soft and broken apart, about 15 minutes. Then she added 2 tablespoons of flour stirred into a 1/4 cup of cold water, mixed smooth before it went in, and poured that slurry into the tomatoes while stirring constantly. It thickened within 2 minutes. Salt and pepper, a pinch of sugar if the tomatoes were too sharp from the vine. That is tomato gravy. She poured it over biscuits. The biscuits were 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of lard, a teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and enough buttermilk to bring it together in about 3/4 of a cup. She cut them and baked them in a hot oven until risen and golden. 20 minutes, 10 people, 1 skillet of gravy, 2 pans of biscuits. The tomatoes were free from the garden. Total for 10 people, roughly 15 cents. A restaurant today would call this a Southern classic and charge $14 a plate. My mother made it for 10 people for 15 cents. My rule has always been this: a garden tomato and a skillet of flour go further than most people realize. The garden pays for itself every summer in meals like this one. Number 3, Tuesday, bean soup. The Sunday bean pot came back out on Tuesday. What was left after Sunday was no longer just beans in plain broth. It had thickened overnight. The broth had deepened from the hours of cooking and from the ham hock sitting in it. My mother added water to thin it slightly, then added whatever vegetables she had, a chopped carrot, a stalk of celery if we had it, a handful of whatever greens were ready in the garden, turnip greens, mustard greens, collards, whatever was there. She brought it all to a boil, adjusted the salt, and let it cook together for 30 minutes. She pulled the meat from the ham hock. There was always a little left tucked in the joints, shredded it fine, and stirred it back into the pot. It distributed through every bowl. Cornbread again. You always had cornbread. By Tuesday, that original 2-pound bag of beans had now fed 10 people twice. Sunday dinner, Tuesday soup. And there was still a little left for Thursday. That is 3 meals from 1 pot of beans. That is what stretching food actually means. Not going without, going further. My rule has always been this: the pot is never empty until the last spoonful has been used. Never pour out the broth. It is always the beginning of the next meal. Before I go on, what did your family eat during lean times? Did your grandmother have a meal she made from almost nothing that your whole family still remembers? Drop it in the comments below. I read everyone, and if you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit that button. New video every single week. Number 4, Wednesday. Fried corn and eggs. Wednesday was the middle of the week. My mother knew that by Wednesday supplies were halfway gone and the week was halfway done, and you had to be careful. In summer, corn was Wednesday. She cut the kernels off 6 ears of fresh corn. In July, corn was cheap or free from neighbors who had more than they could use. She cut close to the cob, then scraped the cob afterward with the back of the knife to get every bit of the milk that remained. That corn milk is what thickens the dish. Do not skip the scraping. Into a hot skillet with a tablespoon of lard. The corn went in and she stirred constantly over medium heat. Salt and pepper, a pinch of sugar. She cooked it for about 10 minutes until the kernels were tender and slightly caramelized at the edges, and the corn milk had cooked down into a thick, creamy mass that held everything together. She scrambled 8 eggs separately, 1 egg per person, minus the 2 youngest who split 1 between them, and served them alongside the corn. 6 ears of corn in 1935 cost almost nothing. A dozen eggs cost 25 cents. This meal for 10 people came to about 15 cents total. Fresh corn at the grocery store today runs $1 or more per ear. 8 eggs cost around $2. The same meal runs $8 or $10 at the store. You can still make it for 3. My rule has always been this: corn is summer's most generous vegetable. Cut it, scrape it, cook it in lard, and it becomes something that fills people all the way up. Number 5, Thursday, cold bean salad. By Thursday, the heat was at its worst, and the last of the Sunday bean pot needed to be finished. My mother did not reheat it into soup a second time. She did something different entirely. She drained what was left, a cup or 2 of beans at this point, rinsed them lightly, and put them in a bowl. She added a diced cucumber from the garden, a sliced green onion, and a handful of fresh parsley or dill from the patch by the back step. She dressed it with apple cider vinegar, a drizzle of oil, salt, and pepper. Cold bean salad, served at room temperature or slightly cool from the shade of the cellar. On a hot July afternoon, nobody wanted a pot of something steaming. This was the right answer. It was filling. It cost almost nothing beyond the dressing, and it used every last bean from the pot that had started on Sunday, so nothing was wasted. Alongside it, she put sliced tomatoes with salt and pepper. Not a garnish, its own dish. A plate of cold sliced summer tomatoes with salt is a full part of a meal when you are eating simply and honestly. My rule has always been this: on a hot day, cold food is an act of kindness. Do not heat a kitchen in July when the garden gives you everything you need without a fire. Number 6, Friday, the garden soup. Friday was soup again, but this time it was the garden soup, a different pot entirely from Tuesday. Whatever had come in during the week and had not yet been used, green beans, yellow squash, a zucchini, the remaining tomatoes, an onion, a potato, went into a pot with water, a piece of salt pork, and whatever scraps and bones had been saved through the week. Every bone that came off a plate during the week went into a bowl in the cool of the cellar, Friday, they went in the pot. This meal looks like it should have a recipe. It does not. The recipe is use what you have. My mother had a method. She started with the onion and the salt pork and let them go for a few minutes. Then the harder vegetables, potato, carrot, turnip, covered with water and cooked 20 minutes. Then the softer ones, squash, green beans, tomato, which needed only 10 more minutes on top of that, bay leaf, salt and pepper at the end. She served it with whatever cornbread was left from earlier in the week, warmed back up in the skillet. A can of vegetable soup at the grocery store today costs $2 and feeds 2 or 3 people. This pot cost essentially nothing and fed 10. My rule has always been this: make soup on Friday. Everything that has not been used belongs in that pot. Friday soup clears the kitchen for Sunday's fresh start. Number 7, Saturday, cornmeal mush with molasses. Saturday was the end of the week. Money was at its lowest. The pantry was down to the staples. Whatever was left had to stretch one more day. Cornmeal mush, 1 cup of cornmeal, 4 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt. Bring the water to a full boil. Pour the cornmeal in slowly in a thin stream while stirring constantly. If you pour it in all at once, it lumps and does not recover. Reduce the heat to the lowest flame, stir every few minutes, and cook it for 20 to 30 minutes until it is thick and pulls away from the sides of the pot when you stir. Pour it into a greased pan while still hot. Spread it flat and let it set for 30 minutes. It will firm up completely. Slice it. Fry the slices in a little lard until golden and slightly crisp on both sides. Serve with a thin scraping of butter if there was any, and a pour of molasses. That was Saturday. It sounds like nothing. It tastes like something. Cornmeal mush fried in lard with molasses is warm and filling and slightly sweet and satisfying in a way that is hard to describe until you have eaten it hungry and cold in a house with 9 other people who are just as glad to have it as you are. A cup of cornmeal costs about 50 cents today. Molasses costs $3 a jar and lasts for months. This meal for 10 people costs under $1. My rule has always been this: cornmeal is the most honest food there is. It asks nothing of you except patience, and it gives you everything you need. 7 days, 7 meals, 10 people, under $2. Sunday, beans and cornbread. Monday, tomato gravy and biscuits. Tuesday, bean soup. Wednesday, fried corn and eggs. Thursday, cold bean salad and sliced tomatoes. Friday, garden soup. Saturday, cornmeal mush with molasses. Not one day without a full meal. Not one pot wasted before it gave everything it had. My mother did not have a cookbook. She did not follow recipes. She had a set of principles her mother had taught her, and those principles governed every meal she made. Start with what stretches the furthest. Use every pot at least twice. Let nothing reach its end before it feeds someone. Finish the week with the simplest thing, and save your strength for Sunday when the bean pot starts again. If your grocery bill is worrying you right now, look at this list. Every item on it is still cheap today. The skills are the same. The pot still works the same way. None of this requires a different era to be possible. Share this video with someone who is struggling to feed their family right now. It costs you nothing, and this could change the way they think about an entire week of meals. Subscribe if you have not already. 1 new video every week. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and remember, your grandmother knew more than you think.